Now I'm angry. Stop calling me out in the comments under my own videos. Here's an example. Zed, I haven't been to the dentist since 2015. True story. Also, Zed, take care of yourself. Making me look silly? Making me look like a hypocrite under my own videos? I'm done. If you guys rip on me 13 or 14 more times, I'm done. This channel's over with. It's done. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Zeducation. And welcome to a That Didn't Age Well episode. You guys, we haven't had a That Didn't Age Well episode in a long time. So we have a lot to cover. A lot to get to. This might be a longer video. And also, back to the intro. Basketball quote? Anyone? Anyone? But for real, though. Stop it. This is my... How dare you make me bleed my own blood on this channel? Stop it. I call out the hypocrites. I can't be labeled a hypocrite. And this is true. I haven't been there since 2015. I have trust issues with dentists, okay? Just, we'll leave it at that. But as always, folks, with these That Didn't Age Well episodes, the game is you cringe, you lose. So if you're ready for today's game, head down and like this video. And if you are new here, please make sure you are subscribed and have the bell clicked for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Now on to today's list of things that didn't age well. Number 10, we have the governor of New York. This is a beautiful one. Beautiful, beautiful meme brought to you by I'm a Meme Zero. And this is just more on New York and sanctuary cities in general that wanted this, that labeled themselves as sanctuary cities to corral votes before elections. And now that they have to actually deal with it, they don't like it so much. So here's the side-by-side here.
As you know, the Statue of Liberty is inscribed. It says, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled young masses yearning to be free, the wretched refuse to a teeming shore." And that statement encapsulates our values. We want people to come here, despite where they came from or despite the circumstances that drove them to this country and to this state. We say you are welcome here. We are welcome with open arms, and we'll work to keep you safe. We'll not only house you, but we'll protect you. So our message to the world is, send us your people, send us those who need the cloak of comfort that we can demonstrate as New Yorkers with big hearts and open arms, and we'll provide a safe haven. We have to let the word out that when you come to New York, we're not going to have more hotel rooms. We don't have capacity. So we have to also message properly that we're at our limit. If you're going to leave your country, go somewhere else. But the smarter thing is to apply for asylum before you leave your country.
But you were the one that put out the message. Oh, it's a beautiful thing to see these political hacks, not age well. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Again, they labeled themselves as sanctuary cities, but now that they have to actually deal with the problem, they don't want to. Number 9. For this one, we go to a Republican. Rep. George Santos, he tweeted this meme not too long ago saying, "They're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way." This was hilarious if you have paid attention with what's going on, but this got fact-checked. This is one of my favorite parts about community notes on Twitter. It's like a democratized fact-checking, so people vote on if the fact-check is legit or not. And people voted on this and said, this is beautiful. They are, in fact, after Representative Santos, who is accused of stealing money from his own donors, among other offenses. And some of the stuff he spent money on is just wild. Campaign money. So this guy is everything in D.C. that he pretends to be against, which is, par for the course in Washington, D.C. these days. So, and he's not running again, thankfully. Far better candidates out there. Number 8. There's been a lot of talk about impeachment and Joe Biden, and that's just been the case now for the last however many years. Same thing with Trump, obviously. But it's kind of funny how it's viewed differently under different circumstances by certain people. For example, in September of this year, this person tweeted,
"Impeachment is something we undertake only for serious crimes and misdemeanors, or because the president is a Democrat, and that makes us mad."
So, criticizing the call for impeachment. There's many reasons to do that with Joe Biden. Where's the money coming from? How much did he get? Who's 10% for the big guy? That's a real thing. We should demand answers for that, correct? Anyways, but that's not a serious issue. They're only doing it because it's partisan. They never did that on the left. Except on day one of Trump's presidency in 2017, the campaign to impeach President Trump has begun. So they literally said they're going to impeach him before they even had anything to try and impeach him on. And then the things they tried to impeach him on were a joke. It's hilarious, but this is the game. This is the game in DC. Number 7. On to some woke failures. We gotta bask in these failures because we hope they fail. For example, not too long ago, back in 2019, Marvel, they said Marvel's universe to expand with more diversity and inclusion. And the problem here is, it doesn't matter, who is the best, what's the best storyline. It's how do we jam all of these themes, these woke ideas into a movie and jam it down people's throats. That's what it has become. Luckily, people don't want that. And it shows at the box office. The Marvels records historic MCW low box office opening. The Marvels set the record for the lowest box office opening in the Marvel universe with just $47 million domestically. And I think they spent like hundreds of millions total producing and advertising that movie. So big loss. Disney losing a lot of money on these woke movies. So you love to see it, and let's bask in it. Let's keep pushing it because this has to end. Number 6. When the Babylon Bee predicts the future. This is real. So maybe, I guess this did age well for the prediction of the future, but here we go. Babylon Bee article. Excited parents throw gender reveal party for their teenager. And this really happened. Parents host gender reveal party for their trans son and broadcast it on TikTok. They literally predicted the future. They're now having gender reveals for teenagers. Again, Babylon Bee. They have a crystal ball. They're predicting the future. They've done this many times now. Number 5. For this one, we go to academia and Harvard, who claims to be this bastion of free speech. Here's the clip here.
Our university embraces a commitment to free expression. That commitment extends even to views that many of us find objectionable, even outrageous. We do not punish or sanction people for expressing such views, but that is a far cry for endorsing them. It's in the exercise of our freedom to speak that we reveal our characters, and we reveal the character of our institution. We can issue public pronouncements declaring the rightness of our own points of view and vilify those who disagree. Or we can choose to talk and to listen with care and humility, to seek deeper understanding, and to meet one another with compassion. We can inflame an already volatile situation on our campus, or we can focus our attention where it belongs, on the unfolding tragedy thousands of miles away. We can ask ourselves how, as human beings, we can be helpful to people who are desperately trying to protect themselves and their families, people who are fighting to survive. How we go forward as a community is up to each of us. I've spent most of my career at this institution. I have seen the people of Harvard come together despite their differences. I know that we are capable of meeting this moment and meeting one another with grace.
So, championing free speech, which is hilarious, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But she's right on a few points. We should allow free speech. That's what this country is founded on, right? And the best part about free speech is when people say and do things, they get across their points of view, and then you can identify who you don't want to associate with, right? And the best way to tackle free speech, wrong speech, is right speech. You should correct those people, right? That's how free speech works. For example, these people, did you guys see the TikTok trend where they were people were sympathizing with Osama bin Laden? Which is really, really funny because if you actually read that letter, there is a lot of very wild stuff. He's essentially promoting his religion, which excludes the people that are sympathizing with him. And I'll leave it at that. It's hilarious. Clown world, only in clown world. These people wouldn't exist in his ideal world. That's just a fact. Anyways, we identify those people. as they're making these videos, and we know they're stupid. We don't want to associate with them or their dumb ideas. That's how free speech works. It's beautiful. Anyways, back to Harvard. They're not this place. They don't advocate for free speech, and they never really have, at least in recent years. Recently, Harvard University is the worst college for free speech, abysmal rating report says. Because of things like this, Harvard withdraws 10 acceptances for offensive memes in private group chat. They revoked 10 acceptance letters for memes, and not just memes out in public either. Memes in private groups. That's real. They did that. So this lady, she's a hypocrite. She's a liar. Don't trust her, obviously. In academia, this is where kids go to rot their brains in most cases. So hopefully you can teach them before they go, and they can combat these bad ideas while they're there. Number 4. We have to include this on this list because it's just still mind-boggling that it even happened. There we go. The next Warren Buffett on Fortune magazine. Oh, look at that. Then we got him, Sam Bankman-Fried, with his favorite politicians that he helped buy. And more on this. Here's his list of politicians that he helped support. And you go through these red ones and you realize, wow, they're not really conservatives or Republicans. They're, the ones that are not very good in that party. So I was like, wow, it's pretty one-sided if you just even looking at the colors here, even including those red ones. But it did not age well, thankfully, because Sam Bankman-Fried found guilty on all 7 criminal counts for collapse of his crypto empire. Have fun rotting in prison. Enjoy it. Truly. I hope you enjoy it. Number 3. So more on this wokeness in this very bizarre way the media paints pictures when they subtly paint things, and a lot of people won't even notice it. But recently, CBS, they aired this news story.
This is footage of the man police say they were looking for. He has not yet been identified, but we are blurring his face at the moment while charges are pending. We watched again as all of this went down. More than a dozen officers were around when it happened before entering a home here on Lafayette Avenue. Now,
blurring his face as charges pending. I'm not against that. I think it's innocent until proven guilty, right? And the media, they can paint someone as guilty just by declaring the headline, showing their face everywhere. And then it's guilty in the media until it's guilty forever, really. You see it all the time. But the part that is very bizarre about this is they don't do this with everyone. For example,
this is footage of the man police say they were looking for. He has not yet been identified, but we are blurring his face at the moment while charges are pending. We watched again as all of this went down. More than a dozen officers were around when it happened before entering a home here on Lafayette Avenue. Now,
same station, not censoring someone as charges pending. Look at that. Why are they not censoring his face? Very, very weird. Not surprising, but this is the sickness that is in the media, and this is how they subtly push things. Narratives that they want to be pushed, don't want to be pushed, vice versa. Number 2, we go to the Biden border wall. And this is, we're going to get to a CNN report confirming this. This is from CNN. This isn't even from me. This is a real story. This is happening. As you guys remember, during Joe Biden's campaign, he promised this. A border wall is the physical embodiment of real Donald Trump's inability to develop effective immigration policy. His use of Department of Defense funds for the wall is a phony answer to the real challenges we face, and he knows it. Even going as far as saying that not another foot will be built under his if he wins. He said that. Not another foot of the wall will be built if he wins. And that was a lie because the Biden administration waives 26 federal laws to allow border wall construction. And, as promised, here is CNN reporting on that. You know it's bad when the far left-wing media is reporting on this.
President Biden is building the wall, or at least part of it. This is something he said he would not do. The Biden administration announced it will waive 26 federal laws to allow border wall construction in South Texas because of what they call an acute and immediate need. The plan is to construct up to 20 miles of new border barriers in Starr County. That's in the Rio Grande Valley area. Some 245,000 migrants have attempted to cross the border illegally in just that one sector since October of last year. On the entire border there, the number is closer to 3 million. Hundreds of migrants rushed past Border Control agents near El Paso yesterday. So when he was running for president, Biden made clear that he would not expand the border wall if elected.
Trump campaigned on build that wall. Are you willing to tear that wall down?
No, there will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration.
The president also said today that former presidents have said to him that they wish that they had built a wall. Do you recall President Obama ever saying that?
I can't think of a single one who said that. We need border security, but that's not the border security we need.
And on the day he took office, President Biden signed a proclamation stating that, quote, building a massive wall that spans the entire southern border is not a serious policy solution. That we should know today's action does not do that. It's a 20-mile section. Nevertheless, it is very different than what President Biden campaigned on.
Very tough. Very tough. But maybe this is just further proof that they don't want him as their candidate anymore. So maybe that's why they're reporting it. Maybe they found a sliver of a conscience. I don't know. Maybe. Probably not that, though. Number one. We're going to get to some more Biden here, but it was recently Biden's 81st birthday. And in honor of that, there's a little highlight reel at the end of this video showing his 81-year-old self. Well, 80-year-old self. But celebrating his 81st birthday and the call for term limits and possibly age limits. But back to number one. Biden claims he was at ground zero day after 9/11, but his own book puts him in D.C. So this, as we get to another CNN clip calling him out about his lies or forgetfulness. I don't know. Maybe they're the same thing. But this is what he does. He's been doing this for a while now, where he says, "Yeah, I was born in Israel." I don't know if he said that, but that's the kind of stuff. It's like, but you weren't, though. You're talking to a bunch of people in Israel, so you're saying this to try to connect with them? It's very bizarre. Anyways, here's another CNN report talking about how bad he lies and the problem that it is.
And he has done, I don't know if it's similar things, but he's sort of told some stories that don't line up quite like this before.
Yeah, this president has a pattern at this point of either inventing or embellishing stories about his own past, his biography. He did it 3 times in one speech last month alone. He claimed he had witnessed a bridge collapse in Pittsburgh when he actually showed up about 6 hours later. He claimed that his grandfather had died just days before he was born himself at the same hospital. In fact, his grandpa died more than a year before in a different state, not the same hospital. And he also repeated a favorite false story that I and others have debunked over and over again about a supposed conversation with an Amtrak train conductor he was friends with, who was actually deceased at the time the conversation would have had to take place. And that's not all. There are some more serious ones in my view. Previously in his presidency, he claimed at one point he'd been arrested during a civil rights protest when, in other versions of the story, he just said an officer had taken him home from a protest. He said he had visited the Pittsburgh synagogue where worshippers were killed in a 2018 mass shooting. In fact, he had actually spoken to the rabbi, but never went. And he's made a whole bunch of others too. He said at one point, Republicans like to bring this up, he said that he used to drive a tractor trailer, he used to drive an 18-wheeler. Never happened. The White House later clarified he used to drive a school bus at one point as a job briefly. School bus, of course, not an 18-wheeler. So whatever his intentions, whether it's foggy memory about stuff that's going on decades ago or deliberate embellishment, this is an unfortunate pattern that keeps coming up again and again with Joe Biden.
An unfortunate pattern. What a great description. We've been saying this for a long time. This guy's a chronic liar. CNN reporting on this. Again, this is it's so beautiful to see. Maybe it's kind of scary, though, because who are they going to put in place of him if they are trying to replace him? We'll see. Bonus! Before we get to the compilation of Joe Biden, this beautiful compilation in celebration of his birthday, we have a couple bonus clips. Like I said, it's been a while since we did it. That didn't age well. So we got to catch up on some things. So on to the first bonus clip. Lululemon CEO who fired employees for confronting thieves stands by decision. It's only merchandise. And right after that, shortly after it, this was his Lululemon. Look at this. You hate to see it, but this is what he promoted. It's just merchandise. It's just let it go. It's just merchandise. $180 sweatshirts, $200 pants, probably made for $5 in China, Taiwan, you know, all these places. All right, so in age, well, this is what you're promoting. This is what you're promoting. Terrible CEO. On to the next one. Flashback to this beautiful, beautiful article. We've been over this a couple times, I believe, but it's so sweet to bring it up again. UN predicts disaster if global warming not checked. June 29, 1989. A senior UN environmental official says entire nations could be wiped off the face of the earth by rising sea levels if the global warming trend is not reversed by the year 2000. So we're 23, almost 24 years past that. 23 and a half. And that hasn't happened. So what's going on here? I know there was it the Dutch? They're increasing taxes on their planes because of this situation. Is it just a way to increase taxes, gain control? I don't know. I'm just saying, but this didn't happen. So back to more idiotic and dumb policies. We have McDonald's, Chipotle hiking menu prices after California raises fast food minimum wage. And that right there, they raised the minimum wage to $20 an hour. You know, no offense to anyone that works there, but that's just not a $20 an hour job. So how do you combat the higher wages? You lay people off and or you raise prices. Sad. This is what happens though when you have people making policies like this. We go to Defiant L's on Twitter for this one of my favorite Twitter accounts. Can't have a list without him. We got this guy who in December of 2021 said, I like to start my day with a workout and telling Republicans to F off. And not that long after, about 2 months later, can Republicans stop dividing us and act like Americans for 5 minutes? Seriously, we need it. Can't make it up. Can't make it up. Just beautiful. Love it. Another Joe Biden. I make no apologies for being the most pro-union president in American history. And fact check, on December 22nd, 2022, President Biden signed a bill to block the railroad union from striking. Just go through his Twitter feed. You'll find lots of these fact checks like this because they're lying nonstop. This is what he does. This is what his administration does. Real hard to control a narrative when you have stuff like this under your tweets. How'd you do in today's video? Did you cringe at any of these clips? Any of these Republicans? Any of these Democrats? Any of these insane policies? Any of this wokeness? What do you think down in the comments? Let me know. Also, while you're down there, please like this video. Please help us get it recommended to others. And as I leave you today, enjoy this compilation of Joe Biden as he celebrates his 81st birthday. Until the next video, I'm Tyler Zed, and this is Zeducation. Enjoy.
Anyway, the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, from Charlotte, another line going from in Florida down to Tampa of Putin's kleptocracy, yeah. And Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce Shanga, $159 billion led. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put the idea that Los Angeles and what am I doing here? For two reasons. One, we haven't been able to communicate it in a way that is, let me say another way. But the nature, not a solid meeting with they make a very good point. Here's the deal. Here's what drives the driver in the states that are affected. Here's what you can do, the drivers. We want to expand pre-K for 3- and 4-year-olds, millions of pre-K students.
for the children.
Idiots.